Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business series, What Are You Good At? With my buddy Jeff Gunsberg with Title Connect. And we're excited to talk to Alex Mehr with Famous.ai. Love talking about AI, Alex. I've been following you for a long time. You have kind of a cool, I don't even know where to begin, so I'm just going to talk about a couple things. Former NASA scientist, entrepreneur, AI disruptor. I think that kind of sums up. And today we're going to talk a little bit about, or a lot about, AI. And I want to talk about, we're going to talk about your product, Famous.ai, but I want to talk about the disruption of AI. It seems to me that the last 6 months has been a different world of AI, whether you're using Chat, Gemini, Claude, you name it. And it seems to now be moving at a pace way faster than I think anybody anticipated. Mm-hmm. And yet it seems like there's a book I read many, many, many years ago called Crossing the Chasm by Jeff Gunsberg, that you had the pioneers and the early adopters. Mm-hmm. It seems to me most people still don't know how to use AI. They don't know how to prompt AI. And the people that do are getting further ahead and disrupting things in a positive way.
Right.
So from your perspective, lead the conversation here, please.
Yeah.
What do people need to do to kind of pick up the pace and learn AI to keep things, to keep their business flowing? Because if they don't, what's their world going to look like in 12 to 18 months?
Right. So to focus on business owners first, if you own a business, think this way. Think of AI as a sort of conscious reasoning utility, which used to be exclusively limited to humans. Before AI, we had no ability to add reasoning and thinking in our business without involving a human.
Right.
Now you can do that. That's the biggest thing. So process was algorithmic and software could do it already, but being flexible and being able to reason and do complex tasks, that is brand new.
Yeah.
So what happens here is that if your business is sort of demand limited, okay? If your business is demand limited, meaning you have a certain amount of business coming to your business, like a certain amount of clients coming to your business, you can accomplish the same task with fewer people with the help of AI. If your business is not demand limited, it's supply limited, those businesses will explode because now you can supply more by augmenting your workforce with AI and serve a lot more customers. So essentially you would see profit margin increase in demand limited businesses and top line growth in supply limited businesses. It's very interesting. And that's only if you apply AI.
Right. I want to make a quick comment. Jeff, I just want to say one thing.
No, please.
I think it's really, really important, Alex, for companies today, and I think many have, most have not, look at their org chart and update their org chart today and every 3 to 6 months, what the virtual team and what the chat AI team looks like on an org chart. Yes. Visually, I think that's really important, just to kind of echo what you're saying, because it's not like, let's do 1 year at a time. It's kind of like, we got to look at this at least minimum every quarter. Jeff, sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, as far as AI is concerned in business, is there kind of a play sheet, like a diagram of like how to assess what you think you would do to help yourself perform better utilizing AI?
Gotcha.
Like right now, I feel like most people are not really certain or understanding the full capability of, like what that looks like. And like, how does somebody who's listening to this, like, just say, I don't use AI in my business. Here's where I'm at. Like, how do you find out in the most efficient way whether you're like would benefit or not by utilizing that?
So there is definitely a lot of confusion, and the reason for that is um, the Cambrian explosion of AI tools that use essentially agentic tool calling, which is a very new phenomenon in AI. It's about, like, I want to say about a year ago, December 2024, when AI agentic tool calling, which I'm going to explain in a second, as a technology sort of became commercially viable. And that's essentially, to put it in simple terms, AI before that would just talk back to you. After agentic tool calling, AI was able to reason, and just like a human, depending on the task, pick up different tools from the toolbox that you give it to perform various tasks in different orders. Okay. So it could have a toolbox that has access to your calendar, has access to your payment processor, has access to your phone, to your customer support, to your CRM. Once agentic tool calling became commercially viable, now you can build AI tools that have like this toolbox, and you give it a complex, not completely, mapped out process. And just like a human says, okay, in order to go through my leads, to schedule calls, do that, I first use this tool, then take the results and use this tool. Does that make sense? That's about a little bit over a year old at this point. And what has happened is that a whole bunch of companies, us included, have started building um, agentic AI software, and it's become a little bit hodgepodge. There are too many options, and I admit it is confusing out there. Okay, there are way too many people. Everybody built sort of like took a few tools and built something that does something, and that's essentially what it is. So the landscape is kind of crazy right now.
Yeah.
I think in the next 2-3 years, what you will see is a convergence to I call them super agents. We're building one ourselves called supercool.com. So these super agents are no longer, oh, if I want to do this, I go to this AI. If I want to go that, I go to this AI. They sit on top. Okay. You don't have to think about what AI to use. You tell the Meta AI what needs to be done, and it always knows all the tools and AI models that do the best task, and it does the planning at the top level. So I mean, with previous technologies, like if you look at internet, people had to learn how to deploy internet technology into their businesses. With AI, I don't think that learning curve would even happen. It would be training AI on how to use AI in your business. And that's, I
Right.
think, because of that, you're going to see really rapid increase, essentially.
But with agentic
Mhm,
AI, right?
mhm,
So I was explained this. I'm
mhm,
an infant in AI, but I was explained that like take the IC off of it, and it's an agent driven kind of program, right?
right.
To help you sales wise, like your agents who are dealing with this
Mhm,
or utilizing the platform could understand and program this
mhm,
to get you results that you're looking for.
mhm.
Um, Instead of kind of what we're doing now is, a lot of it is a I don't know, guessing game.
Yes.
Um, do you feel like um, there's very minimal data that needs to be inputted to get back results from this, or is it
Yes.
so new that
Mhm.
you don't know yet?
Yeah. So if you look at current tools, um, to implement it there are two sides to this. So on a consumer side, most people have really simple tasks. So agentic AI tools already do the job. That's why I started on the consumer side. Like if you want to do something like, hey, read my emails, identify people that are interested in whatever, and to schedule them on a calendar, that's easy. We already have tools for that. That can be done. When you go into enterprises or businesses, the processes are more complex, and also the sort of barrier on how accurate the agent needs to be is higher. Does that make sense? So what currently works is that big companies use enterprise AI agent builders who have modules. Essentially, think of it as pre trained AI agents that sort of, let's say, in your example, you mentioned sales, they have like the software for an AI sales agent. Then they do what they call a lot of times forward deployed engineer. They send an engineer inside your organization, becomes a force multiplier. That force multiplier comes in and deploys that solution in your company, and then trains it and customizes for your particular solution. So it's like essentially became the combination of, I have an AI that is sort of pre-trained, I have a human force multiplier who's an expert. They use the term forward deployed engineer, FDE, a lot of times. They send it inside your company. That person deploys the solution inside your company. But this process is currently expensive. So you're talking about large companies are doing this. It hasn't gone. So essentially sandwich. So in the consumer level, AI has fast adoption. Big companies, they can do enterprise grade AI agents using FDEs, but the middle is currently not really served. Okay, that's the opportunity. Um, what what will happen soon is that the need for that human in the loop is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So at some point, you will be able to get an AI agent, sales agent in, and you just hook up previous sales calls, scripts, and everything else. It just connects to your software and trains itself with minimal input from you, replaces your salesperson. That is work in progress right now. There are a few companies that are working on it, but I don't know if I don't see a winner in that scenario yet. Most solutions are not good enough to take on functions like sales and customer support and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
John, I'm sorry. I have one other question. What do you see like I'm sorry. What do
No,
you
keep
see
going.
the attributes of like the people that will help drive that forward? Because I do see it as a force multiplier that you're talking about. But like the people that are inside the organization are not receiving that very well because they might be, I don't know, concerned their job might go away, or all there's a whole host, I guess, of things that come
Yes.
up. How do you see companies dealing with that AI versus personal communication type stuff?
Oh, it's going to be very painful. And
Okay.
it is. So, yeah.
So I
So,
feel I'm on the right page. Okay.
yeah, you are. So it's going to be very painful, and it requires internal champions to drive change, because it is truly an existential issue, in my opinion. So if you don't adapt, your business will get out of date and will suffer. So it requires internal champion, but it's very painful. To give you an example, I've never talked about this publicly, but we have a product we're working on that is a biotech solution, AI solution that helps biologists with so it's essentially an AI chemist. So it replaces the chemist's role in a biotech company. It helps a biology person do the job with minimal input from the chemist. Okay. So it's funny because it's like the chemists look at it like, nah, this is not as good, blah, blah, blah. But the biologists look at it, they're like, oh my God, these chemists, they're so hard to work with. They're so annoying. I can replace them with AI. So it is a little bit like that. So it's like you're gonna get that internal friction, but that is expected. So there's gonna be a lot of a lot of friction internally from people. You can see that with there's a company called Harvey, which is I think a like $10 billion legal AI company is, and I can see that with paralegals and brand new lawyers in some law firms, all of a sudden they don't have a job. So it's the same concept. So who's the champion in that scenario? Probably the partners in the law firm who want to do the job with a leaner workforce. So it's going to be friction. I mean, this is going to be a really
Well, hold on. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. So on the
Yeah.
opposite of friction is responsibility to grow a certain sales skill, right?
Right.
So this is a train that is moving fast, and none of us have control over changing it, but we have to move with the times. And so
Exactly.
when we look at the landscape and we say, okay, this is what is happening. Now we have to look and say, okay, what do we need to do? What is the responsibility of each of us as individuals and as companies to grow what skill sets,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's something that's really important. That's a really big discussion, I think, right now, as to to your point, these people training the AI models to basically move out of their job.
Yes.
But what job can they then move into, and what skill sets do they need to evolve and grow?
Yeah.
And so just talk on that for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
what skill sets do we need more of in 2030?
Yeah. Let me tell you, and I'll give you an example, personal
Wait, but I
example.
say one more thing. Think
Mhm.
community, pay attention. Well, assuming you're right, pay attention. But I just want to kind of just say this real quickly, because I think AI, this topic of AI is very scary to people.
Yes.
It leads to many discussions, which we're not going to talk about today, but universal base income long term, and will AI take over 90% of all jobs? And I don't want to go there right now, but I do want to say this. Back in 1999, Seth Godin wrote a book called Permission Marketing. At the time, it was one of my favorite books. And what the book suggested and talked about was that when you go to companies like the likes of Amazon and you buy a book, it's going to say, hey, a lot of people who bought this book also liked this book. So that was AI back then. And AI has been around for 60 plus years, longer than that, frankly. So I just want to kind of say, we've been experiencing it, but not to this level. So I just wanted to kind of put some foundation in there. But now talk about the skill that we lost back then, where we didn't have to make a decision on what book to maybe buy next. If someone we knew bought it, what skill set do we now need to start growing?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I can give you a very specific example in my own company.
Yeah.
So we are a technological, we are an engineering company. I had about 180 to 100 engineers, product developers, designers sitting in my floor in my first startup, Zeus, in San Francisco, and we had a certain amount of output. So I managed it. I had layers of management, like teams, team lead, VP engineering reporting to me. I work with everybody. I sort of fully understand what an engineering organization pre-AI looks like. Okay. So fast forward, my engineering team is like less than 20 right now. Our output is multiple times, like 10 times more than what I could accomplish with 100 people. And the engineering team structure has completely shifted because AI can now write code. So what I tell and also within this company, I started this company early 2023. The moment I saw the transformer and the new GPT phenomenon, I'm like, I'm going to go into this. I started in 2023. My engineering team was larger in 2024 than it is today, even though I have more products and we push out more code. So what happened in that process, right? I tell my engineers, engineers themselves are, by the way, super threatened by AI. Just so you know, my engineers who not now, but a year and a half, 2 years ago, as these AI code writers they were feeling threat. This is an engineer who's building an AI tool. So I told them, look, at this point, you can think of it as a curse or you can think of it as an opportunity. The opportunity is we get to elevate our brain to the highest and best use of our brain, which is highest level creativity, understanding what AI is producing is good or not. I call it taste. So it used to be that when we did a test for engineers, we looked at, oh, how good or how quick or how accurately they can write a few lines of code to do a particular task. Now the test is different. It's like, okay, so tell AI to write the test and then critique it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's that AI can do the groundwork. So think of layers of thinking. So the bottom 80% AI can do, the top 20% it struggles with. So the best engineers now, by the way, engineers are paid more. People who can do that top part are paid more because they can produce a lot more work, but they have to be good at common sense. They have to have taste. They have to know, okay, so how do I guide AI to do the job? If you develop that skill, you have multiplied your value. If you have not developed that skill, you are essentially replaceable. Okay.
Common sense and guide.
Yes, common sense and taste. Taste is super important. So think like in your
When you say
example.
taste, define taste.
Yeah. So yes. So in my case, AI produces like the UI. Taste is you as a human looking at it, because end of the day, your service is servicing humans. Your business is servicing humans. Never forget that. So AI is not super good at understanding human taste. So it creates the UI that a human
It's a
looks at.
robot,
Is
right?
it's a robot.
It's a
So
robot.
exactly. So it's like engineer looks at it like, yeah, I understand this is logically correct, but another human looking at it will be confused. The same is true with sales or customer support. So you essentially have you essentially have an agent interacting with your customer, and its own mind it thinks, oh, I'm doing a good job, but it is actually not. And 1 second, guys, my 2-year-old is running towards me. So
They can be on the show.
do you want to come here?
Yeah, it's a family show.
Come on here, buddy. Here we go.
Hey, I thought I heard you screaming in the background or cheering for your dad.
All you wanted was
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Hey, what's the world
AI
gonna
at
be
its
like?
finest right here?
What's his name?
his name is Alexander, and I tell you, everything I do is for my kids. This is my youngest, and I'm always thinking about what their world is going to look like. Are they going to go to school? Are they going to go to college or not? I actually highly doubt it. So yeah, it's like it's all about it's interesting the world we're working in, and we really have to work hard to make sure our kids actually have a good future, because AI can also go wrong, as you know.
Yeah. Well, what is his world gonna like? What go to this question? How are you?
Yeah. What do you see that?
How are you gonna? Yeah. How are you gonna grow, Alexander? What up? How are you gonna grow Alexander's common sense skill, taste skill, and his ability to guide? Like, what are you going to be doing on a day to day?
Yes. So to give you So essentially, it's actually a very minor shift. So instead of learning how to code, for example, you want to teach them how to get the computer to code and assess and guide the computer to code better. Does that make sense? Instead of teaching them how to make a sales call, you want to teach them how to get an agentic AI sales call on how it should think, how to articulate the value proposition, how to overcome objections, and learn how to be the masters of that AI salesperson. Very different, as you can imagine. And maybe the first few reps, they have to do themselves to learn how it is. But then the idea is not, oh, I'm going to learn how to become a good salesperson. I'm going to continue to make sales calls. No, I'm just going to learn it so I have pattern recognition, common sense, and then learn. And these guys are going to grow up with AI fully built in. So they're going to know how to get AI to do the job once they have developed their own taste and common sense. And then like how to continue to train it and make it better. They're going to grow up very different than us.
Well, what I'm hearing you say also is you're talking about growing our skill sets in common sense, taste, and being a better guide.
Yes.
Somebody who can recognize patterns. How I would maybe define that also is somebody who can forecast further down than somebody else, or maybe a little bit further than AI can forecast. How somebody can pay attention to trends, gaps, pain points that are about to happen. And if I were to put an umbrella under that, I would say we really got to tap into people's intuition.
Yes. Yes.
Because I don't know if AI can spot patterns really well, but I don't know if they have the level of human intuition.
Yes.
I think it ends up going further to the openness and like ability to understand where the world is going and then be able to accept that. It's hard for people. Even on this call, my own brain is telling me like that's insane.
Correct.
Like my own head is like like he's a baby, my kids are this age, like what is that all gonna look like, as we move forward? It's a little bit hard to comprehend.
Well, it's hard to comprehend also because
average individual.
But is
I
it?
want to say one thing, Alex. Alexander is, you said how old? 2?
2, almost 2.
So he's almost 2. I'm going to be 54. So when he's my age, hopefully with technology, I'll still be alive. But can you imagine, there was a thing that I saw on the internet the other day that 1917 and 1970 is the same as 1970 to 2025. I think I'm getting that right. So like in 1917, people couldn't comprehend 1970. And in 1970, they couldn't comprehend 2025.
Correct.
Yeah.
But think about this. In 1917, like I watch these shows and, like how America was made, or like,
the best.
All these things, right? Of like in the Industrial Revolution and like all of that stuff. And I classify AI as, like back, like building a bridge, like you saw this land and there was one side and there was another side and the lake was there and they were like, we got to build something to, go over here. So how do we get across? Right.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. And then those guys like saying, you know what, we have this product, we can create steel and we can build this bridge to, across here. And then, you have all that in the automobile and this and that. And then the internet, AI is in line with that.
Yes, it is.
Opinion, to revolutions that have gone on. I mean, this is like a new thing this is the next big thing.
Yes, I think comparing to Industrial Revolution is actually very appropriate.
Yeah.
So it is going to change a lot of things. But let me tell you one thing: first principle thinking, like Elon says a lot of times. I'm like, okay, so if you look at the trajectory of a professional right now, let's use sales because you guys mentioned sales. So a lot of times, salespeople start making calls and they learn the ropes. After a while, they become managers and they have a sales team under them. And who are those salespeople? They are brand new people who are developing they're creating the pattern recognition, and you manage them and you essentially train the brain, which is the neural net of those people under you. Okay. And then they come up and they become managers. And then, hopefully like in a linear fashion, you end up having a large sales force underneath you in a large organization. So it is no different than AI. Essentially, you have agentic AI, which is a neural net, works pretty much like human brain, but it doesn't have that touch, the master's touch. So it doesn't, and it has a particular handicap compared to humans. As humans, we are consumers of other products, we are buyers of other products, so we know what works on us, so we have intuitive understanding. AI doesn't have that. That's why it is sort of like a little bit off. It's as if you bring someone from a foreign country and you try to get them to sell to people in the US. So
Yeah.
they start, there's a little bit of a cultural disconnect. So
Yeah.
as a human, you have that. AI doesn't, but it's a great worker bee. So you're essentially training and managing it. I think that's the skill that is going to be valuable for next 10 years. Now, what happens after that? You probably have other AI models who have modeled human consumer brain really well, so they can do the feedback to AI agents in a new organizations anyways. Okay. So you have now out of the box, like think of it as model of the world. So you have AI that understands, okay, that can model accurately. Right now, that's not the case. But let's say AI at some point can look at a product, can hear a sales pitch, can look at a UI of a product, whatever it is, and judge if it is a good one or not. Okay. At that point, that you have to, if as humans we want to remain at the top of the food chain, we have to go one level more genius than that AI, because that AI now that can train other AIs in your product portfolio in your company, and your job as a CEO should be to think even more meta. What new business lines we are going to go into? What other markets I'm going to expand to? How do I change? So it becomes like more of a strategy. So this is perfect time for people with chess player brains. I'm like, next 10, 20, 30 years, whatever ability in this strategy, tactics, high level thinking, not tactical thinking, you have amplified that, knowing that execution will become more and more and more automated.
Alex, I have had a goal
It's unbelievable.
I have had a goal for 30 years to learn how to play chess. I've always been, I'm not like a person that's intimidated much, but I've always been intimidated by the game because it always seems so difficult. Yada, yada, yada. My family vacation this last December, I brought a chessboard. My kids and I, my brother-in-laws, my niece, my nephew, we all learn chess. I'm obsessed with chess. I'm obsessed. And I have a tutor. I love it. What I love about chess, I love that you just talked about chess, because it has been great for my brain. And I've been trying to kind of figure out why. I mean, you have to think 2 to 3 moves ahead.
Yeah.
And I think that is the key. And so when I think of your boy, Alexander, one of the kids that was around the pool table when we were playing pool on our vacation, he was this really mature 7-year-old. And he was like, yeah, I've been playing chess since I was 5. And I'm actually, he was pretty good at it too. So I think that's the key. Everyone needs to learn how to play chess, because it forces your brain to, you can't think narrowly. You have to think 2, 3, 4 moves ahead on both sides. Everybody's got to train their brain in that way.
100%. Chess is a great one. I play one before I fall asleep every night. It allows me to disconnect.
Do you play on chess.com? Do you play on the chess?
I play on chess.com.
And I have to play.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Sounds
good. Sounds good. So it's essentially, you can also play against engine. It's actually to get, I don't want to go down the chess rabbit hole, but playing against engine is actually the best way to actually improve your chess at the beginning. So it's, but the point is, whatever that skill is, which is try to predict the future and stay ahead of it,
correct,
became like 10 to exponentially more important. So, and it will continue to be that way, because any basic task, cognitive task, is going to be replaced. And people may not like me saying that, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So
I just want to comment on that, because what I'm hearing you say is, it's like, if you are a one-dimensional thinker, you must start thinking in a multi-dimensional way.
Exactly.
It means we have to, if we reverse engineer that,
right?
I just want your guidance to people. Where do people begin to change the patterns of their brain and how they think and how they move? I'll suggest one. I'll get it started. And Jeff, I'd like your suggestions too. One is to get present. I think you have to get present and not feel so like you're all over the place. I think you got to get present so you can kind of zoom out a little bit and find a pause in your day to expand your perspective of things.
Yeah. I think
I
Tyler's right.
I find it like that you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because my profession is somewhat antiquated in how we do it currently. I don't know how AI, I see it starting to seep in, and we've utilized it in our profession, but like, it's it takes some time. It's like, I think for me personally is taking a step back and really identifying, like, okay, where will this go?
Mhm.
Like, where's the next step? And although those things might be a little bit uncomfortable to see, I think it's very important to be identifying where your business might change,
Yeah.
because it's happening.
Yeah.
We can't go back at this
Yeah.
point. And the pace at which this is going on now is so fast.
Yeah.
So
and
how
it's
do we
getting
grow?
better and
So,
better.
I'm gonna have a slightly different suggestion. Again, it's what I do.
Yeah, bring it.
So I find um, ch- building a new business line, uh, like the act of building a new business line versus automating, improving your existing one, to be one, more cognitively demanding, meaning increases the neuroplasticity of your brain and increases your creativity more, and two, it is easier to build a modern day business using AI from the ground up versus changing your existing business. Does that make sense? So that's why I built it like a lab. Essentially, twice a year, I have a new product that I launch, and that process does a couple of things. One, makes us not become complacent, okay? Because incremental improvements are nice, and you should continue, uh, you know, caring after your existing businesses. But your brain kind of atrophies because your marginal gain on
Yeah.
an existing mature business is small, no matter what you do. Okay, so that I think one trick that I do, and I love it, and it's kind of like, it's also my personality. I always like new ideas and new things.
Until new, yeah.
Yeah, and that new thing also, you can rethink it from the ground up with this new phenomenon in mind. So my high level is, if you have a business, think about what other business lines you can expand into, and that new product line, build it from the ground up. It's good for your brain. It's also kind of, I put I create fake urgency for my team, essentially saying, hey, let's launch this new idea. We talk about it, we come up with something, or let's launch this idea by Friday and have put it in front of the first customer. By the way, Elon does that really well. If you read his biography, this is like all he does. He creates like that sense of urgency. So you create it, you push it, and that allows, one, helps you, two, it's a pattern break for your team also. So they're like kind of break out of the day to day that they're in, and three, you can think it from the ground up using the new technology. And the question, I call it queuing question, to again, I'll give you guys how we work. So I'm constantly looking at new technology unlocks. Okay, so what just became possible with technology? Okay, I call them technology unlocks, and then I cue my brain by asking myself a question: how can I productize this new technology unlock that just happened and put it in front of a customer quickly? And then if you stew on that question often,
Yeah.
you come up with new ideas a few times a year. You launch new product lines. They may fail, they may succeed. Doesn't matter. Going through that exercise ultimately, I think, is the best way.
I love it.
That's
You know,
all.
one of the things I want to go into a quick speed round, but I just want to say this. I'm a business coach, and one of the things I suggest to people is have an idea journal, and
Mhm.
spend 1 minute and keep on building on the ideas. And sometimes your 100th idea brings it all together. Uh,
Yes.
it's so important. I love everything that you're talking about. All right, quick speed round. A book or books that have had a big impact on you, and or books that you think people should read because of the way the world is moving today.
Yeah. I mentioned biography of Elon Musk. That's one of the books I recently read, and it's like I read it line by line. It's probably the most informative. Like, love him or hate him,
Yeah.
he's built a huge world, and it's an interesting one. Maybe I suggest a second one too. How brands grow, what marketers don't know, but by Byron Sharp. He's an Australian marketing person, and it's not a very well known book, but it really has shaped my thinking on marketing.
And what's the name of the book?
How brands grow, what marketers don't know,
Gotcha.
by Byron Sharp.
Okay, good. I'm going to buy that. Real quickly, I just want to say this. The Alon book is pretty fascinating. One of my favorite podcasts is called Founders, and he does a lot of episodes and reviews Alon's book if somebody wants kind of a review of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you tell people, younger people now, say not, college sophomores, as to what to focus on at this point in time in their young careers?
Okay, it's a three-step process. Identify what is your unique gift. You may be wrong, but what's your unique gift and talent? Two, productize it using AI. So build it. They say, this is my talent. People give me compliments. That's normally how you identify it. Outside world gives you validation. Two, how can I productize it and bring that gift and talent to people? Three, put it in front of the market and get feedback, and repeat that cycle over and over again.
It's great. I love it. All
What
right.
if you're just a charismatic guy, like you're a charismatic person who people love and they love to talk to, and like you've identified that you have this gift that way. Is the world just open to you?
It's I think so. I think the is one thing that is going to be amplified in the next few years is that people who have interesting thoughts and ideas, okay, they're idea machines.
Yeah.
They are the ones that succeed. And I tell you, in history, if you look at people whose name we remember, Picasso, Leonardo da Vinci, like all these guys, Thomas Edison, Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, all these guys, they had, like, Picasso had a huge body of work that he put out. Leonardo da Vinci, the same thing. But there were a lot of other people who were idea machines too, but they didn't have execution ability of these guys. So they were not able to execute. People diagnosed them as, oh, you have ADHD. The difference between the person who has a lot of ideas and cannot execute, that person has a mental disease. And then Picasso is like Picasso. They're the same. They're just execution ability is different. AI allows you to execute. Therefore, it's time. Put your ADHD to work.
Amen. I'll end on a riddle. Five frogs are sitting on a log. Four decide to jump off. How many frogs are left on the log?
One?
No, five. No. They just decided. They didn't take action.
Okay, good. Okay, you got me.
And to your point, you got to take action. You got to turn an idea into action, and execution is the key. In our last minute together, Alex, tell everybody about Famous.ai, your business, and who it's for, and all that other great stuff, and how to connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. So Famous.ai, I built it so I can do product building and experimentation faster. I used to do that with engineers. I have engineers, but we build things super rapidly. And Famous.ai essentially is a website where you type in your idea for your website and app in English, and it builds it full stack and launches it and hosts it. If it's an app in iPhone App Store or Google Play Store, it has direct connections. You can even upload it directly. So essentially, I made it so that that idea machine out there who does not know how to execute on their ideas, they can do that by just explaining it to the machine. That's the goal of Famous. And to find me, Instagram is probably the best way, at Dr. Alex. Doctor is spelled out Doctor. Alex on Instagram is the best way to be in touch.
Alex, this
Amazing.
this was great. I
Very informative.
Yeah, I
Thank
feel
you.
like
Sure.
we could talk for like 10 more hours. You're such an interesting person. You got we didn't even get to the scientists, NASA, and all that other great stuff. But Famous.ai, Think Community, check it out. This was really insightful, really resourceful. Think Community, I really I encourage you to pay attention to a lot of the things Alex talked about: intuition, common sense, taste, guide, pattern recognition, paying attention to trends, and being somebody who comes up with ideas. We talk a lot about this on the show: being an active listener, being an observer of patterns, and being somebody who can make shifts in the world, one little small nuance at a time. I think younger generations are really good at this, paying attention to what isn't working, and finding a better mousetrap. And today you can create that better mousetrap with AI. Alex, can't thank you enough. Jeff, this was great.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Amazing.
it. Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Really appreciate you being on.
Absolutely.